All right, YouTube, what's going on today? I'm gonna be sharing with you guys a pre-post checklist that you should have in every single one of your TikTok Shop videos. There's just not a lot of tactical advice for TikTok Shop on YouTube, so I wanna shed light. I'm just gonna try and dump as much information as I can on this channel. So today, like I said, pre-post checklist, this is basically just like every little criteria that your TikTok Shop videos need to have in order to go viral. So I'm just gonna share this like a checklist. I want you guys to go through it with all of your videos. I think this is gonna be a super helpful resource. I'm just gonna kind of freeball this one. I don't have like any visuals that I'm gonna show you. I'm just gonna kind of explain it. Maybe I'll throw overlays on the screen, probably not, but let's go through this. So pre-post checklist. There's a lot of things that go into a viral TikTok Shop video. I think a lot of people just look at things on like a surface level and like, oh, he went viral because it was super controversial, or she just went viral because she was pretty. And at the end of the day, like I said, it's a pretty deep rabbit hole and there's a lot of like different layers that go into a viral video. So start from the top and we're gonna work our way down. So your pre-post checklist. Number one is going to be your lighting. Your video lighting should be so crispy and so beautiful that it's like eye candy. You know, when someone sees it, there's like this beautiful light reflecting on their face. There's like a dark background behind them, so you have that nice natural contrast. Maybe you have some sort of like purple, red, blue light in the back, just like one of those like strip lights that are pretty aesthetic, something like that in the back. You really want to create this overall clean, aesthetic looking video. So I recommend that every single person, you get one of these clip lights for your phone. It's like a little clip light that you put on the top. It's going to project nice light onto your face. And then I would turn the lights off in your room or have some sort of like dark contrast behind you. And then like I said, if you could do like one of those cool colored red, purple, blue lights, kind of just some extra contrast in the back, beautiful to have as well. Now, if you don't have, you know, all the lighting equipment and you're not able to facilitate that kind of like lighting structure that I just mentioned, you can also do natural lighting. Best way to explain natural lighting is you just always want the sun projecting onto your face. So let's say the sun's right here. I'm gonna be in front of the sun like this. You never want the sun behind you, to the side of you. And then also inconsistencies in lighting are super important. So like if you are using natural lighting and let's say you're in the house, but you have like shutters that the light is shining through and you have like shutters on your face, right? Like inconsistency in lines, bad. You want to make sure that you have no inconsistencies. So lighting, I mean, it's basic. There's not a ton that goes into lighting. Overall idea behind lighting is just make it look clean, make it look aesthetic, make it something that people want to look at. Framing, this is super important and a lot of people don't talk about framing. Framing is essentially when you go through a TikTok Shop video, if you're putting overlays on your video and you're sharing social proof videos and statistics and facts, right? Like these overlaid, you know, little images that you're putting over yourself, you need to be good at your framing. I recommend going into your apps on your phone and setting up the grid on your camera. So that way, when you are making your content, you can kind of just see like where the framing should be, right? So like if you're talking about like, according to this study in 2024, X product contains X ingredients, right? You're gonna wanna have that frame on the screen so you can see where your head's gonna be at and where you're gonna position your overlay. Like I said, this is also a pretty straightforward thing. This is just so you can get in the nitty gritty with your content, because I'm such a firm believer the dollars are in the details. All these little things, they sound super surface level, super mundane, like it doesn't matter, but I promise lighting, framing, super important. Like I said, framing's pretty straightforward. It's just you don't want your head like too far at the top of the screen. You don't want your head too far at the bottom of the screen. You don't want it too far over. You don't want it too far to the right, to the left, etc. So to have your face like almost perfectly center in the screen. And if you are putting overlays, that obviously you have room for them and your face is still in the screen. So pretty straightforward. Like I said, you can set up the grid on your phone settings and super helpful. Next is the background aesthetics. This kind of goes in with lighting. Like I said, you want an aesthetic with your video. You want people to see this and like your whole goal is like, I'm an authoritative source. I'm a trustworthy source. Trust me based on like what you can see through the screen, right? So people are going to make a super quick like value-based judgment based on like the way you look, the aesthetic of the video, your background, etc. So that's why I say it's so important. Establish yourself as a trustworthy figure, right? If I'm selling a supplement for some sort of skincare, wellness, whatever it is, and I have like a super messy room, my closet door is open, you can see that there's shit everywhere, immediately I lose my trust, right? Like why would no one's bought into my lifestyle, no one's bought into me as a person, so they're not gonna wanna listen to like the advice that I have to give. But if I have a super aesthetic, nice environment, I have like a sick background, maybe I'm in some mega mansion, it's like people are gonna immediately associate my advice with like the lifestyle that they kind of see, right? Or the way that I paint myself in that video. So background's so important. Like I said, you don't have to have some crazy background. You can just do like a plain white wall. I recommend lights off so you have contrast, right? Light on your face, lights off in the background, and then some sort of just, you know, colored light maybe in the back as well for some extra contrast. Pretty straightforward. As far as like, let's say you're filming, you know, a faceless video and you're showing like the front facing camera of your phone. Best way to do that is just like same idea, nice aesthetic, right? So maybe you're in the grass, maybe clean ground at countertop. You always want your clips to look aesthetic. I don't really know how many times I can emphasize that. Use common sense. It's not super hard. Like if you're filming on your desk, make your desk look nice, you know? If you're filming on your counter, make your counter look nice. If you're filming outside, make the outside look nice, so on and so forth. Next is gonna be your personal aesthetic. So these all kind of go hand in hand if you notice, but your personal aesthetic is gonna be like, you know, your authoritative figure. So me as Michael, like I said, if I'm trying to sell a health and wellness supplement and I have all this stubble on my face and I have pimples all over and I just don't sound like, you know, I take the best care of myself, immediately same thing there. I'm less trustworthy. So it's like every little detail in this video matters because I'm painting like an image in this customer's mind of who I am, what I do, why I use this product, and why it's such an effective solution. And they're essentially buying into me and my result. So you have to have yourself as well put together as possible, matching the aesthetic, and kind of everything just needs to move congruently together, right? Like your background needs to be congruent to who you are as a person, your lighting needs to be congruent, your framing needs to be congruent. Yeah, that's, like I said, best way to explain that. Really use some self-awareness, use some common sense. It's not that difficult, as long as you just pay attention to the details, right? Next is gonna be sound. This one's not super important, but you know, having a sound in your video, if you're using one. Not every video needs a sound, but if you're using a sound that is congruent to that video. So a big thing that not a lot of people talk about is, you know, the emotion and energy that you bring into your video, which I'm gonna talk about in just a second. Your sound has to be congruent to the emotion and energy, right? So let's say you're just doing like a straight UGC video where you're super hyped and explaining like customer testimony. You don't really need a sound for that necessarily, right? You're just giving hype UGC examples, but maybe you're telling like a conspiracy style video where it's more mysterious, more suspenseful, more spooky. You're gonna wanna kind of have like one of those spookier background audios to play into that suspense and just kind of help with that overall aesthetic of that video. So like I said, sound, just kind of feel out the aesthetic of the video. If you feel like a sound could help, add a sound. If not, don't worry about it. Like also, if you're doing like a super heartfelt video, right, and you're tapping on those emotional heartstrings of people, you know, you can kind of use those like soft, sadder sounds, really helpful as well. Tonality, this kind of goes hand in hand with sound. So same thing, kind of based on the video style that you're producing, what's the tonality that you're speaking to, right? So let's say you're doing, like I said, conspiracy, spooky, suspenseful. You're gonna wanna really talk slow and emphasize certain things, build up that suspense like you're telling a conspiracy, you know? It's almost like you're telling like a horror story. Or like I said, if you're super excited and you're just giving straight raw UGC, like this product's sick, here's my transformation, I saw this video of this guy, like you're gonna have an excited tonality, right? You're excited, expressing that emotion through the camera. Or like I said, if you're telling a more heartfelt story and it's a little bit more emotional, like you kind of want to have that soft spoke tonality where you're tapping into those people's emotional heartstrings and you're making them feel sad and etc. Next is talking speed. Same thing as tonality. Based on the aesthetic, the emotion, and ultimately the content style that you're producing, you're gonna wanna have a certain, you know, talking speed. So if you're super excited, you're probably gonna talk a little bit faster. If you're suspenseful or, you know, emotional, you're gonna talk a little bit slower, and you're just gonna kind of play into those emotions. For this, I wanna emphasize there is no right and wrong, right? There's no right talking speed, there's no wrong talking speed. It's based on you as a person. So think about the emotion that you're trying to convey in that video. How does that emotion make you feel? Express that emotion to your customer through your talking speed and through your tonality. Next is gonna be the overall energy, right? All of these go like hand in hand, but the energy, if you're excited, you're using hand movements, you're bringing energy to the camera like I am right now, like I'm fucking hyped to tell you guys about this. Or if you're suspenseful, you're spooky, maybe you're doing hand movements like this and it's just really calm, relaxed energy, so on and so forth, right? You're just gonna bring the energy based on the content that you're producing and the emotion you're trying to express. Really important one right here is hook, a heavy hook that kind of pattern interrupts. The best way to explain this is if you can't get someone past the first 3 to 5 seconds of your video, you lost the customer and you ultimately sold the video. So the whole goal with a heavy hook that's like a pattern interrupt is to get people reeled in. There are hundreds of thousands of pieces of content being posted a day on TikTok and all these short form platforms. You have to be a stand apart. How are you gonna be a stand apart? It's through a crazy scroll stopping hook. Interrupt the pattern, say something crazy, show something crazy. And as far as hooks go, I'm gonna make a video kind of specifically for hooks pretty soon here. But I would say the best takeaway is like visual hook, verbal hook, or text hook, right? So text hook could be what you're saying on screen, whatever your text is. Verbal hook, whatever you're saying, you know, you're saying something out of pocket, funny, creative. Or visual hook, you're showing something just interesting, satisfying, weird, whatever that might be, right? Like for example, if you're selling Shilajit, it's like this crazy black tar, great visual hook. Maybe you're selling a supplement that helps men with testosterone, you can create some sort of funny hook centered around, you know, boosting T levels for a text hook, and so on and so forth. That's really hooks. They're pretty basic. You just have to be creative and like get in the weeds with content. The more hooks that you watch, the more content that you consume, and you're watching it from a, you know, producer standpoint, not a consumer perspective, and you're identifying why they go viral, what they're using in their hooks, visuals, texts, audio, like I said, it's gonna be pretty easy for you to make these hooks. But yeah, hooks are super important. Next is comment bait and controversy. Kind of goes hand in hand with hooks. Comment bait and controversy is obviously just kind of trying to hit the metrics for TikTok. So if you guys know how a TikTok video's performance evaluation is kind of done, there is no one knows the algorithm on TikTok, right? It's an AI learning machine, but the best information that we have for the algorithm is it's all metric. It's all like performance and metrics. So, you know, like to view ratio, share to view ratio, comment to view ratio, favorite to view ratio, watch time and retention, all these metrics kind of determine like whether or not a video goes viral. viral, right? So if everyone's liking it, if everyone's sending it to their friends, if a bunch of people are favoriting it because it's helpful information, those are kind of the metrics that are going to help TikTok snowball into virality. So you can use comment bait and controversy to kind of like calculate these things, right? Like if you say something wrong, if you say something funny, if you overemphasize or over exaggerate or a little bit dramatic, like you're going to get people who are going to comment. Those comments are ultimately going to hit those metrics for TikTok, going to help boost that video into that like virality snowball. Like I said, comment bait controversy, pretty simple. Comment bait, right? You're just rage baiting people. You're saying things wrong, saying things funny. And then controversy, same idea there. This can go deeper, right? Like if you provide a lot of value, people are going to want to favorite your video. If the video is super engaging, right, and you have crazy retention, that's also gonna help boost the video. So it doesn't always necessarily need to be comment bait and controversy. I think one little layer of this is good, just like in your hook. But like I said, like it could be a super educational, informative style video, and people, it's gonna hit the favorite metric because people are ultimately probably gonna send it, save it, and keep that information for themselves. So yeah, comment bait and controversy. Last two that I have for you are call to action. Call to action's so important. It's people that make a beautiful, flawless video and then forget to have a call to action, and it's like, you just did all this work for what? So just make sure to have a call to action. I think the best way to do like a good CTA is just subtle, you know? You don't want to be super salesy with it, like, guys, you need to get this today, right now, click that orange button. Like, wrong way to go about this. I would say like good subtle call to action is like, you know, you talk about why you love this product, your benefits, your testimony. But the one problem with this product is that it's always sold out for some reason on TikTok Shop. I think it's because they're always running an exclusive flash sale on this one. Typically it's like $40 from other places. Right now it's only $30 on TikTok Shop. So if you see that orange button, chances are it's probably still in stock, right? You're just kind of subtly conveying like, well, the one thing I hate is it's always out of stock, right? You're creating that like gap between them. And then ultimately, if you want to get it, the orange cart, if it's still there, that means it's still in stock. Super easy call to action. I'd say follow a framework like that. You can play around with other ones, do market research, see what's working for products that are kind of in your category niche, and you can spin off of those. Lastly is a proven script. Just don't reinvent the wheel with TikTok. You know, there's so much content on this platform. There's so many ideas, so much inspiration. Don't reinvent the wheel. Go find a winning framework and put your own little creative twist on it. And I think a lot of people, they think that like you need to, like I said, reinvent the wheel. The literal philosophy behind an idea and creativity is like inspiration one, inspiration two creates your own creative output. So don't be afraid to like, let's say you're selling a product that's men's testosterone booster. Don't be afraid to take a product that's like similar benefits or a video that's similar benefits and just take that framework and rework it for your own angle, right? There's gonna be content styles that work for every product. You can explore products outside of your niche, just see what's working and use those to double down for your product, if that makes sense. So yeah, just a proven script. It's nothing too hard. Use tracking softwares, stay up to date on TikTok, you know, stay up to date with trends, and you'll always see like what's working, and then you can take those proven frameworks, proven scripts, and use them with your own products and your own ideas. So yeah, kind of all over the place with this video. This is the pre-post checklist. I'm gonna put a screenshot on this video too, so you guys can just save it for yourself, have something to reference towards. But I feel like information like this doesn't exist on YouTube. I just wanna be one person who can like actually provide some real fucking value. I'm just trying to shed some light in the space, help anyone out. So if you guys like this video, if you took some value from it, like, comment, sub. Appreciate all of you boys watching always, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.